Welcome to Women Under the Sun on the Business RadioX network, where you'll meet extraordinary women with incredible stories in both life and business. And now, Kim Adair and Mark Bishop. And away we go for another Women Under the Sun. Yours truly, along with Kim Adair and our very special guest all over there in New York, Dorothy Bishop. She trained at the Yale School of Music in opera. She immediately moved to New York City and later joined the first Broadway national tour of Terrence McNally's Tony Award-winning Playing Masterclass, starring Faye Dunaway. Welcome, Dorothy Bishop and Kim Adair. How you doing?
Thank you.
Hi, Dorothy. Hi, Mark.
Nice to talk to you. So, Dorothy, let's ask you, was opera going to be the be-all and end-all for you?
In the beginning, yes. When I got out of Yale, my goal was to definitely sing at Lincoln Center, and I wanted to go to Europe, and I did some really cool stuff, and I used to get called back for City Opera. This is back when City Opera was still at Lincoln Center. I used to get called back, but I never got cast. And finally, I did work regionally as an opera singer, and I did a lot of tours, and I performed a lot, but it just wasn't quite enough to justify it takes so much time and money to be an opera singer, and all my money was going to training and coaching and getting ready for the next role, and I just wasn't seeing enough of a reward, enough of a payback, and I was frustrated, and I could always do other things, so eventually I left it, but I had some great times being an opera singer. I really did.
Well, you made your Carnegie Hall your main stage debut with the New York Pops singing Mimi and the famous Love O.M. duet from Act One. So what was it like? I mean, I'm sitting here kind of in chills. What was it like, performing at Carnegie Hall?
Oh my God. It was amazing. I kept having to pinch myself, and it was just amazing. And my picture was up on the marquee outside as part of the concert, and I would just walk by it constantly. And then my parents, I didn't know that it was going to be that big of a deal, and then I saw my picture and the announcements, and then I was like, Mom and Dad, I think you should come up here. This is going to be a pretty big deal. And they came up. And my brother came up, and then they gave us a limo. It was so great. A limo after, and hanging out backstage, and just that stage is surreal, and the sound is just beautiful, and the view is of course beautiful, and we were sold out. It was surreal.
Oh,
it was really great.
How unbelievable. And for your parents, because I know I've seen clips of you, when you were with your parents recently. So your parents have always supported your music endeavors, and your father plays beautifully.
Yeah, my dad plays piano. My mother left this world about 7 years ago, but she was extremely supportive, and my dad still plays. He has a beautiful grand piano in his house in Florida. And, every now and then he still plays. And, my parents were wonderfully supportive, and it was great. They used to come up to New York anytime I did something up here.
Wow, that's
nice.
Awesome.
Well, you're a clever little thing, Dorothy. You invented your own spectacular pop opera show. Right, and you toured as a featured guest entertainer on the luxury cruise liners for 10 years? That must have been a hoot.
Yeah, that was my next career, because I just thought, if I can't make it in opera, I had, when I was younger, I had sung in an opera trio for a summer on a ship that went around Alaska. And I don't even know if we got paid. We didn't get paid much. It was just kind of one of those things where they were like, come do this. We're going to see if it's going to work out. And, you'll get a free vacation all summer. And we were like, yeah, okay. And when I was on that ship, I saw the guest entertainers, and I thought, if I don't make it in opera, this is something I could do. And they were all working, full time at this. And I was like, this is what I want to do to try to, to be a full time entertainer. I'm just going to make up my own show and go on ships. And it took a lot to get on them. It's pretty hard to break into that, because of course everybody wants to do it. not everybody, but it's a really nice career and not a lot of people know about it. I think more so now they do, but, yeah, it was great. And so the first ship I got hired on is when everything went wrong. The sound was out. We had a horrible storm. At one point I had to take my shoes off. It was really rough, but the cruise director was like, if she can make it through this, she can make it through anything. So I didn't get fired.
That's good.
That's amazing. Well,
and I saw the world.
Go ahead. Keep going.
I was just saying, I saw the world. I saw the whole world, really. At least the ports and a lot of, the continents.
Mm-hmm. Did you get hit on a lot by the men?
Yes. That's going to be my next book.
I want to hear a couple of those stories over a little cocktail.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And captains for the word.
Oh, well, yeah, I married one of those once, a different kind of captain, but that I really want to hear about sometime. I can actually visualize you with your raps and, your flamboyant way and them just getting so excited about you. So,
yeah, it was tricky.
I bet. Yeah. That'll be a fun cocktail hour. We have to get the girls on that with Zoom. But, we'd been friends, social media friends for a really long time. And I was so enamored with your videos where you were you became Sarah Palin lookalike, but your voice you can do anything with your voice is absolutely really amazing. But I still I'm going to say this, it's my show. I still pee my pants when I watch that because it's just hilarious. So when did that start? The whole the Sarah Palin deal.
Well, it was actually during the height of my cruise career that this all happened. It's kind of like everything happened at once. And I also broke into this really huge gay club in New York that's no longer here called Splash. They used to have a huge stage and would let you do productions. And so I did my pop opera show there. I made it more poppy and fun and funny. But I was doing that. And someone saw me and said, she looks like Sarah Palin, because I was in a rehearsal and I used to wear my hair up in the bun on top of my head and had my glasses on. And my director said, she does look like Sarah Palin. And then I was like, who's Sarah Palin?
Oh, you didn't know?
She's she'd just been nominated and I'd never heard of her. And so I just started watching her. And then, of course, she blew up. And I don't think I really started doing her until a year later when she was just becoming, so in the media. And then by 2010, I was being hired by agencies to do her for corporate and comedy. And then I did her in New York all the time at the clubs because I was already at Splash. And then once the gays knew I could do her, I got on all the red carpets with the housewives, like the housewives in New York and all that stuff. I would be on the red carpet. It was really funny.
Oh my gosh.
It was easy for me. It was so easy. I wish everything was that easy.
Well, and you look just like her. I think we should have a look-alike contest. That would be a cool Zoom thing. Just, we try not to be political on our show, but that's just too funny. That whole deal that you've done and you did milk it, huh? I mean, you really did get some good coverage for it.
She wasn't as polarizing when I did her. I kind of, depending on my audience, if I knew they were left, I could play it more left. If I knew they were right, I'd play it more right. But she wasn't as polarizing as like Donald Trump. She was very, everybody thought she was fun. Everyone thought she was funny. Then when she was goofing up all the time, that was just so easy to make fun of her. And even people who liked her, they would laugh at her, because she was goofy.
Right.
So.
Well, and then you were cast in the smash Off-Broadway. I love Off-Broadway. I lived in New York City in the early 80s. But you were in the Off-Broadway hit Hamilton for 2 years.
Yes. Yeah.
Where you impersonated the great Broadway divas, leading you now to your own comedy impersonator show called the Dozen Divas Show, which runs monthly in New York City at the fabulous and famous Triad Theater. And I did love your show. And it was so, with all the stuff going on with COVID to do things online, to do virtual, it really was actually my first virtual gig to come into and watch. And it was really great. It was so fun. I felt like I was right there. So
thank you.
Yeah. So how was that going, and how is it going now through this last year? Hard for all of us. We're so kind of sick of saying that, but it sounds like we're kind of coming out of that a little bit. But how's it going right now?
Well, I mean, it's not, but
right.
It was great to be back on stage. I did do 2 virtual shows. One was a holiday show in December, and then I just did the one last month. And it felt great to be back on stage, but I just missed the audience so much. And it's very difficult to do comedy without a live audience. And I did have like my 5 people out, like my hair and makeup person, and a few friends. But I was grateful, and I had people tune in. I had people see me who had never seen my show, but it's just not the same. And I'm hoping. I mean, we've just gotten 30% now allowed in restaurants, but they still haven't opened off Broadway, and I'm not sure if it will open.
Yeah, it's hurt Broadway, all right.
Or if they'll let off Broadway open.
I bet you can't wait. The whole industry just can't wait till this darn thing's over and things can get back to normal a little, for the arts and theatre. And there's so many people involved in the industry, and the flow on to theatres and clubs afterwards. But I got to tell you, Dorothy, I've just come out of COVID, and I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. It can be, everybody's different, but gee, both my wife and I went down with it for a month, and I'm back on deck sort of thing. But you're in New York on the phone, and Kim's in Tucson on the phone. I'm in the studio on my own, and it's not the same when people aren't around you, around the table. You know what I mean? It's so look for that. Listen, who was your very first impersonation?
When I was a kid, I used to do Barbra Streisand.
Okay, yeah. Well, that wouldn't be easy, would it?
No, and we would laugh. Well, we were kids, and she was, I guess she was probably in her 20s. She was just like such a huge star. Yeah. And I think I would sing people, and I would do the lip tremble, and her gestures. And my friends just thought it was so funny. They just make me do it over and over.
I believe you do.
And then it was after.
Go on, sorry.
Oh, after that it was Cher, and then everybody's got Cher.
Yeah. What about Liza Minnelli, Barbra Streisand? We talked about that. Bernadette Peters.
Yeah, Bernadette, I don't do in my current show, but I did her in Hamilton, so I had to learn how to do her for sure.
And one of my favorites, Stevie Nicks.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, she's my favorite. Uh-huh. She's definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, one of my non-favorites, Hillary Clinton. What'd you do? What'd you do with her? Just stand there and lie, did you?
I didn't do Hillary. I think I did do her in my show a couple times. Oh, and this is a good story.
All right.
And my comedy partner, who sometimes guests in my show, Charles Osborne, he's fabulous. He left New York for a while, but he's coming back. And we decided to be political, and he would do Bernie. He's a really funny Bernie. But we got tourists in the show, and I got in the habit of thinking it was just going to be my friends and New Yorkers who were mostly left. And if they're not, they'll laugh. And we got some people that didn't think it was funny, and they started yelling at us and going, "We thought this was a comedy show. Why are you doing politics?" And they got up and walked out. So I learned my lesson. I was like, okay, can't mix.
Right.
And so I don't do anything political. I'm trying to think if I've done anything even mildly political.
Yeah, people are fed up with political anyway, Dal. Listen, what about your love for Shirley Bassey?
Oh, my God. I love her so much. I wish more Americans knew about her, but I do sing Goldfinger, which everybody recognizes.
Oh, so yeah, that was great.
To hook them in. But she's just I just love her. She's just the ultimate diva, and with the feathers and the boas, and just, she's just so.
Well, let me give you a lovely intro then, and you give us a little sample of Shirley. Would you do that?
Oh, no, I don't want to sing right now.
Yeah, come on. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. The one and only Dorothy Bishop, Yeah.
Oh.
All right.
Well, finger. But I'm not warmed up.
Oh, that's great. Amazing.
All right, Kim.
Well, I'm Faye Dunaway. She's a character. I mean, in a sense. I mean, with her personal life and how people feel about her, don't feel about her. But what was it like touring with Faye Dunaway?
I guess it's been 7 years since I signed the release agreement. So. She's well, first of all, she was amazing in the role of Maria Callas. She was amazing. But she was very old Hollywood, and she kept to herself, and she does have that temper. Joan Crawford is not that far from her natural personality. It was sometimes very difficult because she was difficult, and she did fire people right and left in the cast.
Oh, wow.
The cast, we were all okay. She didn't really yell at us, but the crew and hair and makeup and, her cook, I mean, those people would be fired constantly.
Oh, wow.
All things,
yeah, the production company would constantly have to find new people to step in. And that was really tough because we were a small cast and we would get close, and then that person would be gone. And it's tough to be on the road anyway. So I would say she was amazing in the role. I respect her immensely as an actress. She's a beautiful woman. This was 1997. She was stunning, just stunning.
Right.
And she took us to see the Rolling Stones in Nashville, Tennessee,
wow.
in a limo, and called Mick and said, "Mick, can you hold the curtain, darling? We're running late."
Oh, wow.
We were.
Oh, wow.
We were either up front or right on the side. I was right on the side. Amazing seats.
Oh, wow. So, oh my God. So you're saying that you were pretty okay with working with her and felt like you guys were protected. But let me ask, how long were you on the road with her?
14 months.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So, that's a long time.
It's a long time, but it was a Broadway production contract, which at the time paid really, really well. A lot of the rules have changed since, but at the time it paid really, really well. So I made money, and that was good as an artist in New York with all the ups and downs of the business to have a solid, year and change working for decent money. That part was great, and that's what I had to keep reminding myself of when I was like, I can't take it anymore. And we were treated really well as far as hotels and transportation, and we were protected, as you said, and the shows were great. I was proud to be in the show. So tell a little bit about the show. It was who else was anybody else famous in the show? No, it was a true story about Maria Callas doing her master classes at Juilliard.
Okay.
And then Terrence wrote in the 3 students. So there's the nerdy girl who really is clueless, who just gets kind of torn up by Callas. And then there's the handsome tenor who is very cocky and confident. And they actually have a little moment on stage while he sings Tosca. And then there's the young diva, which is what I was the understudy for that role. And there's the young diva who thinks she's everything, and Callas just rips her apart. And then in the end, the big ending, not to give away too much, but the diva tells her off and storms off stage and has this kind of painful monologue where she calls out maybe something that's true about Maria. And in between, Maria has flashbacks of her life, and they play this beautiful operatic score of various famous operas that she sang. And she talks a lot about Ari, Aristotle Onassis, who of course she had an affair with. And it's a gorgeous play. It's just beautiful. And they do it a lot. You'll see it produced around the country still. But Maria is generally a name. So, and then the students don't really have to be famous. Wow, that's amazing. So, so what did you do directly after that? I was still full-time going for an opera career. So when I came back, I got my Actors Equity card, which was great because I could audition for Broadway, which before I couldn't. So I would audition for anything that was kind of legit operatic. I think I auditioned for like Carousel and Showboat and Phantom. I would get called in a lot for Carlotta.
Oh, wow.
and then I was doing regional opera. So I was touring. I did Lucia a lot, and I did Fiordiligi and Così fan tutte a lot. But they were out of town companies, and we used to call them BYOW, bring your own wig. Because the wigs and costumes could be so horrible. And a lot of times you had to do what's called a homestay, where you stay with the sponsors. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you luck out and sometimes you don't. And sometimes they keep their thermostat at 50 degrees at night and you're a singer and you can't do it. There's nothing you can do. I'm just like, I need a hotel.
Oh, wow.
Put me in the Quality Inn. I don't care. Hotel.
Oh, that's amazing. What do you think about that, Mark?
Well, she's a talented lady. She's performed, for those that may have just joined us, listening to Women Under the Sun. We've got our special guest, Dorothy Bishop. Part classy, part camp. Her repertoire is part classical, part contemporary. Her act is all-star powered charisma, and you cannot take her eyes off her as she's performing. A lot of accolades from different critics. The effect is mesmerizing and a delight for all theatrical musical senses. And we're going to talk about the Dozen Diva show, because this is what she created. Sat down, wrote the whole thing, put it together, and, apparently it's very clever. It's called the Dozen Diva show. So I guess having a say and control over your career and destiny, it was about time. Dorothy, you love coaching and teaching. How long have you been, training and put your whole life's been in this career, hasn't it?
Yeah. For opera, you really just never stop training. You never stop. So, at least 10 years longer. And then when I was auditioning, I would still train. I always had a teacher here. I always had a coach. Like I said, it was very expensive. Voice teachers in New York for classical singers are extremely pricey. Back then, $150 an hour. Who knows now? Mm-hmm. And then coaches were anywhere from $50 to $100 an hour. So I was working a full-time job as a legal secretary to pay for all my coaching in between gigs. And I did that for a long time. And sometimes I would actually have, months of gigs in a row, which was so great. But then all of a sudden I'd have to go back to being a secretary. And I had a great law firm that I worked for, God bless them, who would let me come and go.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah, it was a great gig. And I got along with them very well. And that was a blessing.
So what's happened, Dorothy, now with COVID? What's happened with, renowned New York venues? Carnegie Hill's one thing, but the other famous off-Broadway, Joe's Pub, Zipper Theater, Town Hall, performing off-Broadway is a big deal in its normal times. They're all closed?
Yeah.
What a shame. Okay. And you did well, too, as a television finalist on the 4th season of America's Got Talent, didn't you?
I don't know if I did well, but I got on it.
Come on, don't be bashful.
It was fun.
Yeah. All right. Wasn't as good as performing on ships, though, was it? Did you see anybody thrown overboard when you're on ships?
No. But I saw a lot of people drunk.
Yeah, dangerous. Unbelievable. One a cruise goes missing now. I love cruising. I met my wife on a cruise.
Do you?
Yeah, oh yeah. No driving, no nothing. You can just, I love it. I think it's great. Okay, what about, really who's your favorite diva?
The one that touches my heart the most, and it's just because of when I was born and when I lived, and I used to sing in a rock and roll band, and I would sing her when I was in high school, is Stevie Nicks, because, and I know she's your least favorite, and she's not vocally the most challenging. She's not vocally the widest range, but I love her life story. I love what she survived. I love her look, her classic look. There's just no one like her. There's no one that sounds like her. She's a poetess. She's written so much beautiful poetry. And I just find her very classic and timeless. She just, when I sing her, I feel like it's a privilege to get to sing her on my show.
Now, you've also done Linda Ronstadt. Big favorite here is from Tucson. And one of your early influences was Nancy Wilson from the band Heart.
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah. I haven't done her yet, but I have worked on her during quarantine. And I think I might have the nerve to do her. the issue is that my show is a comedy show, so I have to find something that's funny. So I have to figure that out. I have a friend that looks just like the sister, Ann Wilson, not Nancy Wilson, but I sing Ann. But I have a friend that looks like Nancy. I think you're thinking of Nancy Wilson, the jazz singer, possibly.
Yeah, that could be the one. That could be the one.
I might have made that mistake, but
yeah, that'd be right.
Ann and Nancy are a rock and roll sister group from Seattle that still are out there, but were huge in the 80s and 90s.
Right.
So Nancy, I also love, but she's not I just love her music, but
I want you to keep practicing because I want you to keep practicing because the boys that started the band, the Fisher Brothers and Barracuda Man, are on my radar, and possibly I'm able to get them here. So wouldn't it be cool? Wouldn't it be amazing to have them here to promote some of the things that we do with Women in the Sun? Have you come out and do you think? I think the guys would love it. So, and I could probably get a cheat sheet for you from them as well.
Yeah, that would be cool. Amazing, and a little bit of pressure, but
these guys are so laid. They're all from Washington State. They're also laid. I know the girls became a lot more famous than the boys, and I think the boys don't love that, but they're such kind, great guys, and I think they get a total kick out of doing something like that with us, especially if it was for a charity event. So we'll work on that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll complain.
So tell us, do you have any new divas coming?
I just put in 2 new divas. I think I lost my mind doing it because it was very stressful. I usually, when I put in a new diva, there's a couple of small theaters in Florida near my hometown that love my show and will book it, and it's low pressure, and I'll run new divas. As a matter of fact, last year I put in Charo, which I would have put her in the show, but you have to have a live audience because I have to coochie-coo somebody, and there's nobody out there. So I just added Bette Midler and Celine Dion. And
now there's a singer.
A lot of pressure. People have been bugging me to do those 2 for so long, and it was stressful just because it was a broadcast and I'd never done them, so that was very stressful, but they're definitely staying in the show, and I look forward to a time when I can really run both of those girls and get them those ladies and get them more under my belt. Celine was an absolute blast. Oh my God. She's been one I've been really wanting to do, and she's so fun and funny, and I'm intimidated by her voice, but I figured out a way to do her. So,
Mark, are you a fan of that diva?
Celine Dion. Yeah, I want to ask you, Dorothy. When you take somebody off a star like that, is it only singing, or can you actually do like a voiceover?
That's a good question. I do speak as the divas. Some are easier than others.
Right. Because if you're any good at all, gee, it might give you some work, eh? You could pretend to be all these superstars.
Maybe. Maybe. Yeah, some are easier to speak as to copy their speech than others because they have such unique.
Yeah.
Like Barbara. Barbara. I mean, she's got the Brooklyn accent, and she talks like this, and she's pretty straightforward. But someone like Stevie is a little harder.
Yeah.
And she just talks really low.
Well, this whole, we got this whole new TikTok thing, which I'm going to stay away from, but I do enjoy it. And I see that you are getting a little involved with TikTok. So do you have a new, I watch everything you do. I mean, people think that, we all sit on, social media all day long, and that's not true. I do a little bit in the morning. I close out the evening with a little bit, and you're definitely one of my favorites to catch up with and watch everything you do. So I'm total fan. But what is this TikTok thing like, and what's your newest TikTok character that's going? Are you got anything going on viral?
Well, I started my own TikTok channel just as me, and I would do some of my impersonations. And I got really frustrated with that. I couldn't figure it out. I felt like I'm too old. And then out of boredom during quarantine, I started watching it, and I was like, there were so many, because my friends were like, you should do voice lessons, give voice, talk about your career and singing. And because there's so many kids who are looking for teachers. And I noticed that TikTok was getting completely flooded with teachers and a lot of kids teaching. And I saw a lot of amazing, useful stuff, and I actually learned a lot myself just watching. But I also saw some really funny stuff, and I saw some really fraudulent, bad teachers, and and just, I don't want to name names or anything, but just some really ridiculous stuff. And I thought, this is a really funny character, is a voice teacher who's really terrible. Mm-hmm. And thinks she's great.
Yeah, I've seen it. I love it. I think it's something you could do forever.
Well, she's got over 3,000 followers, and I'm aiming for a lot more. I don't do it as much. I mean, you're supposed to do TikTok 3 times a day. Who has time? I'm trying, geez. But yeah, I'm trying to release material as quickly as I can. But I'm happy. 3,000 followers. They're all kids. It's so funny. They're kids, and some classical people. People who are in the business and singers and professional singers, but it's a lot of kids who are like, 16, 17, 18. And I got a note from one of them, and she said, I was having a really bad night. Her name is Karen, virtual vocal coach, my character. And she said, I was having a really, really bad night, and I was very sad, and your videos make me laugh. Thank you so much. I was like, oh, that's all I need to hear. That I'm making, people feel good, and this little kid feel good and laugh, and
that's cool. Hey, Mark, are you familiar with TikTok?
Yeah, I don't. I see all these crazy things they do on it and everything. I'm full bore handling everything else with social media, trying to keep up with that. And then there's this new thing on the weekend I got on for millions of people who are frustrated podcasters or broadcasters, and with COVID, someone to talk to. It's called Clubhouse. Are you on that thing yet?
What is it?
Clubhouse.
Clubhouse?
Yeah.
I don't know that.
You use your phone.
It's all
it's all about your phone. And you join this, you get the app, you download the app, and next minute you can go to any room you want, any discussion. Some have got thousands of followers already, some have got a couple. But it's it's a communications thing. You get up in Bill Gates' room and talk with him, or you can be talking with a superstar, or you can be just talking with generic people. Lots of help, it's called Clubhouse. You got to be invited. So someone would invite you, email you and invite you. And that took my Sunday, figuring out how to learn that thing. I don't know. There's too much stuff out there. Listen, Dorothy, if somebody wanted to look at your work now, somebody wanted to, follow you a little bit, you've got a URL website, right?
Yeah, there's a lot on YouTube. I think there's probably more on YouTube of all the different things.
So what's the address?
It's just Dorothy Bishop on YouTube.
Okay, so youtube.com/C/Dorothy Bishop or just /Dorothy Bishop?
I think just Dorothy Bishop.
All right, okay. I got C here in front of me as well.
You just put in Dorothy Bishop. Well,
I know, Facebook.com has got the /The Dozen Divas Show. Is that right?
Facebook on Dozen Divas Show, correct.
Okay. All right. So, Kim, in closing, is there anything you'd like to share?
Oh, just that we just want to get the word out about Dorothy. We're gonna do a Zoom call with some prizes and some East Coast prizes. By the way, Dorothy, I think I mentioned that. I've got a little clout with some people there, some girls, some ladies that have products, and so we'll continue this. I'd love to have Dorothy on down the road when things get a rocking and rolling in our world again. And then definitely want to bring Dorothy out. I'd love to invite Dorothy out to one of my charity fundraising for cancer. And you can vamp all you want. You're going to love Tucson. Love Tucson.
I don't think I've ever been to Tucson. I'm pretty sure I haven't.
Well, I promise when we bring you out here not to bring you out in the dead of the heat.
Yeah, you don't come out. You don't come out in summertime. You come out. You've got 9 months of the year. You could come on out. Yeah, so it'd be nice to meet you.
Worse than Florida, and that's on the border.
Oh no, we don't have the size of the bugs or everything else Florida's got. Yeah,
right.
We don't have humidity either.
We'll have a lot. We'll plan. I'm going to start planning now. So a year from now, when people can all be together, you will be totally loved here. You are perfect for Tucson's venues, and we got some great gals that can put something together. I'm not the best coordinator, but I got people. So looking forward to that. And
I look forward to it too.
Yeah. It'd be nice to meet you,
that's
Dorothy.
all I got to say about it. I'm so grateful that you, I was so excited about having you as one of my special guests on Women Under the Sun show.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you guys so much.
You're most welcome. It was nice meeting you via the phone, Dorothy, and I look forward to the day that I can.
And I'm glad you recovered.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that. All right.
You're okay.
All right. Thank you, Kim. Good job. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Mark.
You're listening.
Thanks, Dorothy. We'll see you soon.
Another WUTS. Another Women Under the Sun with your host, Kim Adair, on Tucson Business Radio X. The show stays there permanently. You can listen to the podcast over and over. Plus, it also goes out to a lot of the major popular podcast platforms like Apple and Spotify and Google and so on, and Stitcher and Spreaker. They're all there. So enjoy the show. And there'll be more coming along with Kim Adair. And hopefully, maybe in a couple more shows, she might just fly it alone. Who knows? Hey, Kim, you just never know. You got to take that jump.
Hey, I can probably do it soon, but I love my Mark because you just have this incredible voice.
You'll be right.
To let that go too soon. So
all right, my friend.
With me a little bit.
You take care. Look, okay, we'll talk to you soon. All right. Goodbye now.
Bye.
Join us again, won't you, on the Business Radio X network for another inspiring Women Under the Sun.